within and surrounding Baltimore. Don't ask him about preseason games, oh no. Stuffing things in Griffin Basso. Despite it being on the internet, he can call it what he wants, so Glenn Clark Radio. Glenn Clark Radio. Glenn Clark Radio. Duke sucks.
And good morning. It is a Friday edition of Glenn Clark Radio. I'm Glenn. He's Griffin. And if it's Friday, that means our Chief Grand Poobah, Stan the Fan Charles, is in studio with us. Please, apologies. If you catch me yawning at some point, I got no sleep.
I know. I feel like I'm in a morgue right now.
None. Zero. So we'll do our best.
Why?
Because I had to be up at, I was up at 3:50 this morning.
Oh, you were. I didn't realize you were doing it. I thought that was a one-day thing.
No, it's like every now and then. It's not like every, it's when they need me.
Right.
Well, it was supposed to be a one-day thing, and they were like,
the ratings came in, and they were like, we better throw everything we got at this guy. No, so and then it was worse because my wife woke up at 3:30 to go take care of some horses and checked on. Oh yeah, she checked on me like, hey, don't you need to wake up? I'm like, not for another 20 minutes, lady.
That's so sweet of her.
I couldn't sleep, man. I couldn't do it. I had given up. I knew I wasn't gonna be able to watch the football game. I knew I wasn't gonna be able to watch the second tennis match. I knew all those things. I was in bed.
Didn't you explain that to the people at WBAL? Don't they know who you
this
are?
This is the time of year. Not the time of year to be calling your pal GC. That's what I said. If I'm gonna do the morning show, let's do it during the Australian Open when I want to be up anyway watching some tennis. So I apologize if I struggle today.
So you need me to be really on today.
I was actually kind of hoping that at some point I could just nap under the table.
Why don't you?
I was just gonna go crawl under the table and nap,
don't
and
you?
Nobody would notice. Well, it's good to see you, Stan.
I love people turn us on, and then you're like.
Stan's doing a show. Stan's doing the whole thing. He's like, and another thing about Trevor Rogers, right. And I'm just sitting. We're coming up with the program today. Bert Jones, the Rustin Rifle, will join us.
It's the funniest thing all week long. I wanted to look that up. I was saying the Baton Rouge Rifle.
No, the Rustin
Rifle. Yeah.
The Rustin Rifle will join us. Of course, former NFL MVP.
Number 7.
And he is going to be back in town next week for a great celebration that the Babe Ruth Museum is putting on at Union Brewing. Corralling the 1975 Baltimore Colts for the 50th anniversary of the team known as the Miracle on 33rd Street, getting off to a 1-4 start and turning things around. So we'll talk to Bert Jones about that. Later on, Mike Golic will join us. He's on the call for Westwood One for Ravens
I'm looking forward
Bills.
to talking to Mike
I've been meaning
Golic.
to talk to you about that. I think it might be a Mike thing. I don't know.
Really?
Yeah.
Greenberg talked to me.
Yeah, but he didn't want to.
Yeah.
That was I don't mean
on the radio.
Oh,
just said,
you
get out of
actually-
my way.
I had to call a personal favor in order to get Greenberg on. Mike Golic will join us a little bit later to talk Ravens Bills. All that coming up on the program today.
So that was intentional, so you could get a nap.
Right. If it times out right.
It's a power nap.
Here's the deal. So Project Game Day is returning on Sunday night. Following Ravens Bills.
How are you gonna stay up for that?
I don't know. Myself.
Don't you have to be at WBAL?
No, I'm not doing Monday.
Well,
so the reason I was there today is because C4 had jury duty. Now, knowing who he is, I find it very unlikely he gets seated on a jury. I can't imagine that in Baltimore City anybody's like, Clarence Mitchell the fourth, huh?
Mm-hmm.
We'll just go ahead and put you on this jury. But if he were to,
you'd be on.
I guess it could become a if that were to happen. I just don't think that's going to be the case.
Just see him now, like a 2-month jury trial.
Could you imagine? Could you imagine? And I'm just dead. I'm just not functional. It's a complete weekend of Bernie's situation. Griffin has me propped up here. I'm in the chair, and he's just doing the show.
All right.
Like, that's the way it's going to work. Anyway, so what was I saying? Oh, Sunday night. We're going to do Project Game Day. Myself, Rita, KZ, Stecca, the whole crew.
No Femi?
Griffin. Well,
Okay.
we've got a different plan, I think, for the 2025 season where we're going to have maybe some various special guests joining us for episodes of Project Game Day this season. And week 1, our special guest, our post-game co-host on Sunday night, will be none other than former Ravens linebacker Tyus Bowser will be joining us as our post-game analyst.
Didn't he once have
on
a
Sunday.
show called the
He
Tyus
did.
Bowser
The Tyus
Show?
Bowser Show once indeed aired with us right here at Pressbox. So I'm really excited about that. Really excited about that. Tyus is going to be able to do that with us. That should be a lot of fun.
Are you doing a show of any kind during the season?
Yeah, a lot of people have asked about that. We won't be doing a show. We
Right.
are looking into the possibility of doing some one-off events with players as the season goes on. It will not be a traditional show for a bunch of different reasons, but hopefully we'll be doing some various events as the season goes on. So, yeah, Project Game Day back on Sunday night. And Tyus Bowser, former Ravens linebacker, will join Rita and I as our post-game analyst immediately following Ravens-Bills. So stay up late with us and hang out for week 1 of Project Game Day. PressBoxOnline.com/game day is where you can find us. All right, now, when the Ravens come home next weekend for week 2 against the Browns, there's going to be a lot of celebrations. They're going to be celebrating the 30th season of Ravens football. They're also going to be
Joe Flacco.
That's right, the return of Joe Flacco to M&T Bank Stadium. They're also going to be recognizing a group of players on the field during the game, the 1975 Baltimore Colts, and that's because that team is going to be here next week for a great event in partnership with the Babe Ruth Museum at Union Brewing, a 50th anniversary celebration. Corallin the 75 Colts, 1 week from tomorrow at Union. Joining us now, the Rustin Rifle himself, former NFL MVP, the great Bert Jones, is with us here on GCR. Bert, it's Glenn and Stan here in Baltimore. It's great to chat with you. Thank you for taking the time for us.
My pleasure, Glenn and Stan. Top of the day to y'all. How's the weather up there?
It's actually perfect right now. Really, Bert. We got to make sure we hold this for you for next week because this is
What a
about as
deal.
good as it gets.
Hey, hearing that voice from down in Louisiana, do you know Ben McDonald at all?
Of course.
Okay.
Everybody in Louisiana
Okay.
knows Ben McDonald. I'm pretty sure.
Ever
that's
see
the
him
one.
wrestle an alligator?
I have not seen Ben wrestle an alligator. I knew Ben's mother before I knew Ben. She worked a co-worker of a dear friend of mine, and Ben was a great ball player. I love LSU baseball, as
Yep.
you can only imagine. Matter of fact, I made the baseball team, but my football coach wouldn't let me play.
You know
So-
what? Bert, it worked out okay in the end.
It did work out okay.
I don't know. Baseball seemed like a whole lot of fun. Of course, when I lived in Baltimore, I had a pretty good subdivision. Jim Palmer lived there, Doug DeCinces,
Wow.
Rick Dempsey, Eddie Murray right down the street, Ken Singleton. So, I mean, we had in the strike year, I even pitched BP for him one time. So
Really?
I always liked baseball, yes.
That's really cool. I did not know that.
By the way, before we dig into the event, did you know about Ben's accident a couple weeks back?
I did not.
He fell out. He fell 25 feet out of a hunting stand. He fell and really had a concussion, but miraculously he made it back rather quickly.
Yep.
So
Wow.
Bert, the 75 Colts.
Yes.
This group, the Miracle on 33rd Street, the 1-4 start. Tell me about this team. What made that group so special that you were able to get things turned around and have the season that you ultimately had?
I think there were just so many contributing factors to that. First, that was my third season. 73 was when I was drafted. We didn't play much because it was just tough. The next year was when the strike interrupted the preseason, so nobody practiced. But by the third season, my draft mates, so to speak, the Joe Wermans, all the way down the line, started maturing. We got in some new offensive linemen, King George Coons. Everybody else seemed to start gelling, and as Coach Eddie Robinson said, the greatest thing about football is it is the greatest team sport, because you can have one superstar, but if all other 10 men are not working for the same common goal, you will not be good. And we just kind of gelled and we worked, because we weren't, I don't mean this ugly, we weren't the most talented team in the league, but collectively we were the best organized team that we had. You can thank Ted Marchibroda for that. Yep. And his coaching staff. They brought it together, and it was one of those things that just doesn't. Well, first of all, at that time, 74 we were 2-12. 75 we went 10-4. Greatest turnaround in NFL history, and it kind of reinvigorated the Colts for sure. It kind of reinvigorated the town to rally around the Colts. Because it had been was such a great franchise up to that time in Baltimore. So it was just a whole lot of fun. But I knew it was coming. In the 4 games that we lost, we were competitive. We were winning. We just had to, cross that threshold of learning how to win. And it was just a miraculous season. We won. We 1-4, then we went 2-4, then all the way a 9-game winning streak in a row to win the AFC East Championship. It was pretty special.
He is Bert Jones. He is with us here on GCR. And again, that team is going to be celebrated next Saturday at Union Craft Brewing.
What time is that?
3 o'clock in the afternoon. And you can go right now to BabeRuthMuseum.org to get tickets for that event, as tickets are still available. Bert, I wonder, there's so much made about how the Colts didn't have a home, right? And former players didn't have a home. And I know the Ravens have attempted to reach out and have done a good job with that. But what does it mean to you to have the chance to get together with this group? And particularly that
good
beyond
question.
Just this event, that the Ravens are going to bring you guys out to celebrate you as well on Sunday.
It's awful special. I'm truly appreciative to the Ravens. I kind of am schizophrenic because I grew up in the NFL in that my father played 10 years and was the offensive coordinator for the Cleveland Browns until I went to college, which meant I was a ball boy from the time I was 11 years old to my senior year in high school. And so it was kind of crazy. The Colts left and the Browns left, and I was there with nowhere to go. And so I think I found my home again. Appreciate both the Colts in Indianapolis, and I do appreciate the Ravens in Baltimore, and the Browns have their name, and they're back in Cleveland. So, things work out in the end. It takes 50 years, but what can I say?
Hey, Bert, you mentioned being a ball boy. Recently we lost Jimmy Irsay. I know this town hates Robert Irsay, but I'm wondering if you had any relationship with Jimmy. I know some people in Baltimore that were friends with him throughout his adult life and spoke very highly of Jimmy. He had his demons, but I'm wondering if you had any relationship with him.
I had a tremendous relationship. Matter of fact, I'm having a private party Friday night before this event on Saturday. And I had reached out to Jimmy, and, how do I say this? It was going to be covert, but Jimmy was coming to the event.
Wow.
And so he and I have been dear friends since time. His father wouldn't let him have a car when he got his driver's license, so he just had my car in training camp. So we have been dear friends since he came to Baltimore as a ball boy himself. And of course, I somewhat identify as a ball boy because that's what I did. Matter of fact, in our reunion, our Friday night party, we're going to have two of our ball boys that were from the 75 team, Billy Burgess and Jeff Marks, at our party.
That's
so,
cool.
and so it's going to be fun. It will be fun. So Jimmy was a great friend. He had a wonderful heart. He did have his demons, and it was a tough go. And I've communicated with him multiple times when he was battling this issue. And honestly, I thought we had him in the clear. But obviously, we did not. Is nicer. But the answer to your question is, Jimmy had a great heart, a good guy, loved Baltimore himself, loved the Colts, and so he made a great transition in the ownership. And Robert had his demons too, but Jimmy had a great heart. For sure.
It strikes me that there was another member of the 1975 Colts staff that probably will not be able to join you guys next weekend.
Well, that's right. He has a game the next day.
Yeah.
He's down in North Carolina. I have communicated with Billy.
I wanted to know, the success that he's found, right? And how old would he have been in 1975, Bill Belichick?
He would have been 23.
Yeah, 23 years old.
Wow.
Did you have any inclination of what Bill Belichick was going to become, Bert?
Well, I always knew he was a smart kid. I was laughing before the Super Bowl this year. He was doing some work with Eli and Peyton for the Super Bowl, and he was in Baton Rouge. And he said, "You got to come down and let's chew the fat, chit chat." And he was laughing because that was his first job. I mean, I helped get him his first paycheck. Edgar Rosenblum wrote him a paycheck for $25. He slept in the training room. He slept once we left training camp. He moved to Memorial Stadium and stayed literally in the training room of Memorial Stadium for most of that first year.
Wow.
And we were laughing because he was talking about, he told me a story that I didn't realize or remember, but he was saying, he said, "Bert, I think I learned as much about defenses when I was with you in Baltimore because, as you know, his father was coaching at the Naval Academy at the time. And so we had a former coach down there, and so Pete McCulley got him to come up, I think was the protocol of how it happened. But Billy had just gotten out of college a year and a half later and wanted to get into the business. And Ted was, we had these drills twice a day in training camp where we would line up offensive receivers and backs, defensive backs and linebackers, and we'd snap the ball. And I'd drop back. We'd have a pass called, and the defense would rotate to the defense they were in. My job was to holler the defense as soon as I recognized it. Well, Billy was a center in college, and so Ted said, "Billy, why don't you come over here and snap to Bert during these drills?" So every day, twice a day, in training camp, he would snap the ball to me. I'd drop back, and I'd holler the coverages. And he said, sitting there after I snapped the ball, looking up, watching the defensive going like this, and you hollering the coverage, he said, "That's when I learned defensive coverage."
Wow.
I said, "That's hilarious."
Bert,
but he's a good guy, great guy, fun guy. And yes, we still have a relationship.
That's
and
cool.
I'm pulling for him. It was a tough start last weekend, but I think he'll get it going for sure.
Bert, when you do get the opportunity to get together with as many of these guys that are still around, what's it like for you? How special is it for you?
It's truly a special time. I have pretty much maintained, or we have maintained, where we are, what we're doing, how we're doing, and those components of our life already. And I've literally spoken with everybody from the 75 team about our upcoming event. It's going to be a whole lot of fun at Union Craft Brewing, but I don't want to tell anybody, but we're having a real private party where there's nobody invited except for the players, ball boys, former general manager. We have one trainer coming back and wives and significant others. And then we have a former Colts player that was on the payroll from the 75 team, so he's coming. And so it's just going to be a glorious time where we sit down, probably tell some lies, and have a whole lot of belly laughs.
That's the way it should be. That's the way it should be. Bert, Baltimore's been very fortunate. I don't know how many cities there are that can claim that there have been 4 MVP quarterbacks, all from one city. Of course, the most recent one being the first with the Ravens, that being Lamar Jackson. But
what a player he is. He's pretty special, isn't he?
It's unbelievable. I wonder what you make.
I sent a message to him, I don't know how many years ago, please stop running like you are. I'm afraid you're going to get hurt. And then now I'm saying, you're unbelievable. Don't stop anything. Just do everything you do the way you do it.
I wonder, if you could explain that, because I feel like sometimes we traipse into hyperbole when we talk about this young man, because he's just such a revelation from anything we've ever seen. But the way that you're describing him, maybe we don't traipse into hyperbole. Maybe we somehow don't praise him enough. Like, I just genuinely believe we're watching one of the most incredible talents we've ever seen play in the National Football League.
And I do not disagree.
Yeah.
He's pretty special. And I really enjoyed watching Joe Flacco play. I'm looking forward to seeing him again. I mean, I was a fan of his and the great success that he had there in Baltimore. Lamar, he's just unbelievable. I don't get it. He's how do I say, that just doesn't happen on a football field, the things that he does.
He's amazing.
Bert, speaking of quarterbacks, what was your relationship like with John Unitas, post-career? Did you have a good relationship, or was there some
we had a great relationship. Matter of fact, I have a picture of John and Sandy and my wife Danny and I all together in my kitchen. It's one of my favorite pictures. But John was just a great guy. He was a whole lot of fun. Of course, there is no happy ending in the NFL.
Yeah.
Of course, I grew up in it. I knew that swinging door that I went through coming in was going to hit me on the way out. I didn't know when, how, or why. But, in my situation, I had an acute injury where I basically broke my neck, fractured my 5th cervical, ruptured the disc between, had a cervical fusion, spent 6 weeks in the hospital in traction. So mine was quick. John's lasted a long time because he was such a great player. And like I say, there is no happy ending.
Yeah.
And so I the way, I don't mean to say this ugly, but I thought it was mishandled, the way that John was traded and gone out to San Diego. Because, look, how did I say this? I watched him because I was a Browns ball boy. I mean, we played him in the '64 championship when the Cleveland Browns beat them. I was there on the sidelines.
34 to nothing. Yeah.
27 to nothing.
27.
I think. I've been hitting the head a lot. Correct me, but you need to. But actually, John, after my rookie year, I moved into a house I rented just right off of York Road, and he and Bobby Boyd had the Golden Arm restaurant.
Yep.
And they were kind enough to give us a discount. Well, trust me. I mean, to be able to hang around with John Unitas, just talk to him, and then get a discount on food, that was a home run for this old country boy, I'm telling you. So I had a great relationship with John. I admired him as a player, and he, an athlete at that elevation and that level, always somebody pulling on the strings. I could understand how he could be calloused a little bit, but he was never that way around me, and he was just pretty special. Like I say, in my kitchen, I don't have any memorabilia, but I do have a picture of John Unitas, Sandy, and myself with my wife. So I think I had a special relationship with John.
Really cool.
Because I used to always laugh, "You're not a John Unitas. You're not as good as John Unitas." And I used to say, "You know what? You don't know this, but you just extended me an extreme compliment. You put me
in
a comparative statement to John Unitas. I said, I'll take it.
Oh, that's
By
so
the way,
good.
that score was 27-0. I don't know why.
Look
Hello.
at that. Look at this.
I fell off the turn truck, but it wasn't yesterday, and I can give you more details of that. Dr. Frank Ryan, who was the quarterback for the Cleveland Browns, received a dinger in the first half. My father was offensive coordinator. Frank couldn't remember anything, so Daddy called every play in the second half.
Wow.
And do you know what the score was in the first half?
I'm going to guess like 3-0.
0-0.
0-0. Wow.
And then what a miraculous comeback.
How much did Dr. Ryan play a part in your mentoring you as a young quarter? You know, because I'm sure by that time you wanted to be a quarterback.
Oh yeah, I was. The answer to your question: he and Jim Nanowski and the Paul Warfields and the Leroy Kellys and the Gene Hickersons and the Jim Browns and the Walt Davis and all of the Cleveland Browns were instrumental in my development. I never thought about college football. I mean, I'll show you how stupid I am. When we got out of school in high school, the only thing we were talking about is going to training camp with the Cleveland Browns. I didn't realize you had to go to college first. Frank was a great guy, a great mentor of mine, and Jim Nanowski, who a lot of people don't know, who was a great quarterback too, was a backup. I warmed both of them up every day in training camp until my senior year in high school. So it was a lot of fun.
Bert, I wonder before we let you go, what your relationship with our city has meant to you over the years, and I tell you this anecdotally. There's a guy that we work with here that when he heard that you might be coming on the show, he was like in tears because you're John Colson said you're his favorite football player of all time and made him fall in love with football. I have a friend who's the drummer of a very successful band who the first time he heard that you were going to be on with me, he said, I'll cancel everything and listen to Bert Jones talk all day. The love affair, it's maybe not John Unitas. But there is a very special love for you in this city, and what does that mean?
And it is truly mutual. I mean, I love Baltimore. I slip in and out of town at least once or twice a year. I keep a real low profile. I guess y'all figured that out by now, having never come out of North Louisiana. But Baltimore is just one of the favorite places that I have. I lived on the eastern shore of Maryland, duck and goose hunting and just enjoying the outdoors like I do here in Louisiana. Love the city, love the restaurants, love the people. I love the marble steps. I have marble fireplaces that I brought back from Baltimore that are in my house now. So I have so many reminders of the great times that I had in Baltimore and the great friends, both on and off the field, that it's pretty special. So tell those folks that my love of the Eastern Shore and Baltimore are equally as strong as them, and thank you very much.
Hey, Bert, real quick, I know the phone's ringing, but first...
Yeah, well, it's my wife, and I'm going to tell her that it's all good.
All right. All right.
But, yeah, I appreciate y'all having me on, and I am so looking forward to coming up there. And, you know, a hidden jewel that a lot of people that aren't just in the middle of the city of Baltimore, they need to know about the Babe Ruth Museum. I mean, not only is it the birthplace of Babe Ruth, but they are the official keeper of the archives of the old Baltimore Colts.
Yep.
And so I appreciate all that they do down there. So y'all come out. We're going to be having a good time. We'll be at Union Brewing basically all day starting Saturday, not this Saturday, but the following. And I'm looking forward to recognizing the voices that said hello and cheered, and equally as much as the people. That was a great thing about the Baltimore fans. They knew when you were supposed to cheer, and they knew that when they needed to show displeasure, and they were right every time.
Bert Jones.
So, great place. looking forward to seeing everybody, and I won't be as low profile this time.
All right. Thanks for coming on with us, Bert.
I appreciate it. Y'all have a good time. See you in a week and a half.
Sounds great. Bert Jones. And again, BabeRuthMuseum.org is the website for you to get your tickets. God, he sounds great.
He sounds fantastic.
That
was one of the most enjoyable interviews.
We could have done that for an hour.
Yeah,
we could have done that for an hour with Bert Jones. Yeah. Oh, my God. That was so cool, man. Again,
we should replay that.
That's all we do, right? We're out of here. Glenn's got to get a nap. See you later. Oh my God, he was wonderful. We
gotta call Mike Gibbons and get Colson an autographed picture.
Oh, he's going. Oh, John's going.
You're going?
Yeah, he's going.
Oh, okay.
No, he's going to the event. John was. I think he asked me every day this week, "When's Bert Jones coming on? When's Bert Jones coming on?" Yeah, look, I think for a lot of people,
the Bert Jones show.
We could talk to him about if it's like that. My God, that would
it was unbelievable. I'd love to hear stories about Jim Brown.
Right?
And him. Yeah.
I first of all, what he said about Lamar was so funny to me because I think every single person in this city had that same feeling of, well, you just can't do this. You can't play like this. And then we almost had the exact opposite feeling, which is
you got to play like this.
No, like that's do that. You're one of one. Do that. That was cool, man. Bert Jones, Corallin the 75 Colts. 1 week from tomorrow, 3 o'clock at Union Craft Brewing.
I thought it was important to get that question in about Jimmy Irsay because I've heard nothing but good things about Jimmy Irsay. Demons, aside. And he put a lot of money into helping other people with similar demons,
I appreciate that, and it will forever be a complicated conversation.
No question about it.
It will. That's just the way that it works, and the one thing that I would say that the only follow, and it's not something that I'm not gonna fight with Bert Jones about it, right? The only thing that I would ever say that bothers me about Jim Irsay is he had the opportunity to make some things right.
Right.
He had the opportunity. Not that at that point it was ever going to go back to being the Colts name and colors and all of that was going to be in Indianapolis.
Yep.
But the history should not be.
Yeah.
And I get that's complicated too because the Ravens have their own history and you don't want to force them to take on another franchise's history. But every time they would twist the knife and say, we're going to do a throwback day with the old uniforms, and then they would market John Unitas as if he was ever
part of the
twisted the knife.
Yeah.
And that wasn't ever necessary. That's the only thing that I would ever say about Jim Irsay is he had the chance to say, let me fix that. Let me fix this part of it. We know that that's not ours here. And we're not going to claim it anymore.
Yeah.
And we're not going to try to make there a lineage between Peyton Manning and John Unitas because there isn't.
That may have had something to do with his complicated relationship with his father.
I think it very much had something to do with the folks that I've talked to in Indianapolis will say all the time, well, it's Mr. Irsay's team.
Yeah.
And I would just say that's a very narrow way of looking at this.
Yeah.
It's a very narrow way in the same way that, if there are people in St. Louis that want the St. Louis Browns history, I want them to have it.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Professional sports is regional. Yeah. It's not this, sort of orb that exists, and we were here at one point, we were here. It matters in the community.
Yeah.
And so that was the only thing I would say, but I certainly understand.
When the Browns moved here, it was funny for a second. I said, boy, that's really interesting. We're going to end up with the Baltimore Browns as our team, and when we were the St. Louis Browns in baseball. So it seemed like that was like a full circle moment, but
we're
obviously.
I'm so grateful that – I know it only happened because of a lawsuit, but I'm so grateful that it happened. It is so much better
to have had a fresh
You
start.
have your own thing.
Yeah.
That is synonymous with this city and our memories and our experiences and not forced to take on someone else's history and pretend like it has anything to do with us.
It played out the way it was supposed to play out.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
And that's the only feeling that I had related to Jim Irsay.
I understand that.
Stan the Fan is here with us on a Friday edition of the program. Today's show is brought to you by the Maryland 5-Star, which returns this October to Fair Hill in Cecil County. It's the 5th edition of the Maryland 5-Star. You can get your tickets, Maryland 5-Star with the number 5, maryland5star.us. I want to ask a question that we discussed briefly on BAL this morning.
Yeah.
We're celebrating the 30th anniversary of 2131. We know why it was such a significant local story. I want to know why you think it resonated the way that it did as an American, not just even as a sports story, but that the country legitimately kind of shut down the way that it did to recognize 2131. I want to reflect on that with you when we come back in.
All right.
Stands here, Friday edition of GCR.
For fans of the Costas Inn, and who isn't, I have some great news. Now there's a second location to go along with 4100 North Point Boulevard. This one is at the Timonium OTB. This is Stan the Fan, and I have been a fan of the Costas Inn and Triantopoulos family for going on 30 years. They're open for lunch and dinner, same great Costas feel, same great menu and quality food you've been enjoying for well over 50 years. The exact address on your GPS is 2200 York Road, and their phone number at the new location is 667-406-1970. If you're new to the Costas experience, get ready for a real treat. All wrapped up in a new spacious dining room in Timonium at the OTB. If you want steamed crabs, you have them, and the full menu at 4100 North Point Boulevard. The number for reservations there at Costas, 410-477-1975.
Game day gets even better at Live Casino. Score a live jersey on September 6th and bucket hat on September 27th. Plus, catch our big plays, big pays hot seats on select game days. When the home team scores, the prize pool doubles. And we'll give away a $50 sports and social gift card with every touchdown. Take it to the end zone at Live Casino. At Arundel Mills, must be 21. Please play responsibly. For help, visit mdgamblinghelp.org or call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Looking for Baltimore's premier waterfront dining experience? Head to Nick's Fish House, located in the Baltimore Peninsula. Enjoy crabs all year long, plus happy hour Monday through Thursday from 3 to 6. Planning a celebration? From rehearsal dinners to corporate crab feasts, Nick's is the spot to make it unforgettable. And the fun doesn't stop there. Live music fills the air every Thursday through Sunday. Check out the full lineup at nicksfishhouse.com. Nick's, it's where Baltimore comes to eat, drink, and play by the water.
Gambling can be a fun and entertaining experience, but there are risks involved. If you're planning on betting on the game at the casino or on your phone or computer, know your limit, stay within it. Set a budget and a time to stop. Remember, gambling isn't a financial solution, and it doesn't mix well with alcohol or drugs. Know the risks and have a plan before you begin gambling. For free and confidential services, call 1-800-GAMBLER 24/7 or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org.
The latest edition of Press Box is available now. On the cover, Bo Smolko profiles Ravens running back Derrick Henry and how the football legend has proven to be a unicorn at the position with the success that he's found after the age of 30. Also inside, Brandon Schwartzberg looks at Kobe Mayo's push to find rhythm at the big league level. And we mark the start of the college football season by meeting players from all 4 FBS and FCS programs throughout the state. Press Box is available for free at over 500 locations throughout the region, including 60 Royal Farm stores. Or you can read the entire issue online at PressBoxOnline.com, where you can also find great betting advice and the best daily coverage of the Orioles, Ravens, and Terps.
Feeling sluggish, unfocused, or not like yourself? It could be low testosterone. At Game Day Men's Health, we specialize in testosterone replacement therapy to help men boost energy, improve mood, and regain confidence. Our treatments, including testosterone cypionate, are safe, natural, and tailored to fit your lifestyle with weekly injections or pellet therapy. Get started today with a free testosterone test and feel the difference. GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Game Day Men's Health, where men reclaim their game.
Contrary to what some people believe, I actually like this guy when he sleeps. Glenn Clark, talking sports.
Yeah, thanks again to Bert Jones. That was awesome. That was very cool. Appreciate Bert taking the time for us. That was spectacular. Turn Stan's mic on, for God's sakes.
I'm the chief grand poobah,
you think he's out
damn
to
it.
get you? You think that he's trying to bring you down?
There's no question about it. There's no.
You know what it is? It's because we don't do his Friday segment. We haven't been when we cut the show down a little bit.
Segments.
So he's jealous of my airtime.
It's a bit uncomfortable.
Not necessarily your airtime.
It's
but yeah.
Oh, just in general.
Yeah.
It's complicated.
Yeah, it is very complicated.
It's complicated.
Yeah, that
seriously,
ruled me.
that interview was one
so
of the
good.
most enjoyable interviews.
So good. I could just sit back and listen to Bert Jones talk forever, like forever.
I wanted to ask him and then he sort of said, "I'll tell my wife that everything's okay." So I didn't ask it. I wanted to know where the first place he went to get steamed crabs was.
Well, that's a good question.
Yeah.
Well, we know where we can take him while he's in town next week. We know that. Of course, the Costas Inn and the all-new Costas Inn now open in Timonium at the fairgrounds, and they are proud sponsors of the Stan the Fan Variety Hour. As every Monday, Stan, Ross, Grimsley, and Luke Jackson are talking baseball with you. You have a time for this coming Monday by chance?
Probably in the 5 o'clock range.
Very good.
Yeah.
Facebook.com/PressBoxSports, YouTube.com/PressBoxOnline, or PressBoxOnline.com/video.
So what's this question you want?
Stan, of course, we will be tomorrow. I'm hoping, because the weather forecast is not.
It sounds horrible.
Not great. I am very nervous about that.
Griffin, what's the weather forecast for tomorrow?
For tomorrow, I got no idea.
Right.
If it's anything like today, I think we're in good.
Right, but tomorrow is the question. What's the weather for tomorrow?
I mean, it looks good right now.
I understand that, but that tomorrow was the question.
Why would it be any different?
That was the question. We're hoping that we're going to be celebrating the 30th anniversary of 2131. I'm planning on bringing my family to celebrate the 30th anniversary of 2131 tomorrow. We were talking about it this morning on BAL, and it's so funny to me because we know how ubiquitous it was for a year. It was the story locally.
Yeah.
In baseball, in sports, it was a major story. But what I think someone Griffin's age who wasn't even alive at that point couldn't understand was this became the predominant story in the country. It was the Today Show came and broadcast live from Baltimore. It was the biggest news story in the world at the time. And it wasn't for, breaking a home run record. It wasn't something like that. It wasn't a championship. In hindsight, beyond why it resonated with us, 30 years later, do you have a sense of why you think it resonated so much with the world the way that it did?
Well, it's such an astonishing record that built up, it built up over so much time, and Lou Gehrig's record lasted so much time, and it seems so improbable. I mean, when I don't remember the numbers, how many players went on the IL during Ripken's
streak. Yeah, that's a good question.
It was unbelievable,
Yeah.
and the things like just getting the flu, or wasn't there one thing where his grandfather died or something like that? And sort of the normal thing would have been to take off.
Well, remember, Roberto Hernandez broke his nose at the All-Star break.
Yeah.
Literally just you don't remember that? Oh, you weren't alive. Why am I doing this with you? It's not that you remember it. The story, it was during pictures.
So it was an accident.
During
what did he
pictures,
sort of
he just elbowed Cal Ripken, broke his nose.
Right.
And the famous part is Cal said, "Okay, you set it back in place."
Yep.
And that was it.
Yeah. And the one story I remember.
By the way, the number 3,713 different players went on the disabled list.
3,713
different players went on the disabled list.
Wow.
Between May 30th, 1982 and September 19th, 1998.
Yeah. I do remember they played a game back in those days at the Naval Academy.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that Cal missed that game, or is that the game he got hurt in? I forgot there was a real danger that he was going to miss a game. It wasn't tremendously long into the streak. I mean, it may have been
April 11th, 1985.
So it was only like 3 years into the streak. Nobody even really thought of the fact that he was going to set that record 10 years later.
He had a badly sprained ankle.
Right.
And got the day off, and Len Sakata played instead.
Right.
That day.
In the Navy game.
In the Navy game.
In the Navy
correct.
game, yep. And then I think he got hurt in that huge fight
The brawl.
The
yes,
brawl
with the Mariners.
when Chris Basio threw at God, whose ankle did he throw at?
Hang on a second. Oh,
but
man.
Mussina was pitching in that game.
Yep.
And I always thought that Jeff Tackett did such a horrible job
of
at protecting Mussina. You know, he had Hasselman, and I know exactly what happened. As Sutcliffe said, you gotta take somebody down because Basio had thrown it like about 3 Orioles. You know,
threw behind the back of Harold Reynolds.
Right.
And
he also threw at a couple players' ankles. What was the date of that game?
That was June 6, 1993.
June 6, 1993. Okay.
But yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And again, people have asked me about it over the years, and I think it speaks to me, it always spoke to, none of us will ever understand what it's like to hit a home run. None of us will ever have any association with, like, when Barry Bonds or when Mark McGwire or whoever broke these records over the years, none of us could ever understand hitting even one major league home run.
Right. I can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I heard about your fantasy camp prowess over the years. I mean, I
pitching.
get it. Right.
All pitching.
But I do think that it was something that we could all resonate with, just doing your job, just going to work, all of those things. And that allowed
I think that's a really important thread to this thing. It's something that everybody could relate to, is how that's what being a hero for them is getting up in the morning and going to work.
And doing what it is that you're trying to do for your family and all of those things. And so I think
whether
that's
you're a porn star,
exactly right,
or a plumber.
It's all
Same thing. Sometimes both.
The nobility of work. Right, correct. You show up thinking you're doing some plumbing, and then you say, I hear you've got some busted pipes, and all of a sudden you're having intercourse.
You wrote porn? You wrote porn?
But no, it's the nobility of work, porn, plumbing, it's the nobility of work. No, and I do think that played a role into why it went beyond just being a Baltimore story, why it went beyond just being a sports story, and why it became something that everyone and a lot of people talk about the aspect of it coming on the heels of the strike, and I do think that was a big deal within baseball or within sports, and to a lesser degree within Americana, because it was still when baseball was the predominant American sport. And so there were still a lot of hurt feelings about, not having a World Series in 1994 and losing so much of the season. But to me, it always really seemed to be way more about just the nature of, anybody can do this. Anybody can go to work. But yet, how many of us have? How many of us could ever say we went to work every day for even a year, right? Like today, I was ready to take the day off just because I was tired. I just wanted a nap. So I think that always was part of the biggest reason why it resonated so much with everyone.
No question about it. No question about it.
That's tomorrow night as, we hope it's tomorrow night as the Orioles will celebrate the 30th anniversary. It's funny,
amazing John Miller's coming.
It's really wonderful.
Cool, very cool.
And hopefully leads to maybe another recognition, maybe some more celebration of just John Miller in Baltimore in future years. My buddy Brian Neiman was wondering how Rafael Palmeiro would be received tomorrow.
Oh, I think Palmeiro will be received. I think he'll get a huge ovation.
That's what I think too.
Yeah.
And I think that in part the nature of this celebration, everybody's gonna. I mean, we're just all celebrating. But I do think that even if at this point they chose to just bring back Rafael Palmeiro and have him wave to the crowd before a game, I just think we're so far removed from, we'll never forget the finger wag in front of Congress. That'll forever be associated with Rafael Palmeiro. But I think for the most part, America baseball fans are kind of over steroids and have accepted that it was part
of the game. Yeah. I have a really hard time, and I have a complicated relationship with Palmeiro.
Okay.
But I have a real hard time.
He didn't steal a girl away from you like Rex Hudler did he?
No.
Okay.
No.
Right. I just wanted to. Yeah,
no.
I know. You've never forgiven Rex Hudler for that.
No. Well, Rex didn't even know he
I understand.
I don't think she was particularly interested in me.
You're Stan the Fan, Charles.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't the chief grand poobah
that's a good point.
back then.
Yeah.
But Palmeiro, I had a complicated relationship with what I know some things about. But I'm just telling you, I never believed for a minute that he did steroids that his success was due
predicated
to
by steroids.
Yeah.
You know, I was talking.
I think he turned to something, and I do believe that Tejada gave him something. That whether Tejada thought he would get caught with it or anything, I don't know anything about that. But I just think it's unfortunate what happened to him.
We know that there is a known steroid user already that's been put into the Baseball Hall of Fame, and David Ortiz.
Yeah.
I don't know if we'll see more known steroid users get into the Hall of Fame. Why David Ortiz is allowed to go in and the others aren't, it's a very complicated question. I am of the opinion that steroid users, the greatest, should be in the Hall of Fame. Like I think that the President of the United States is embarrassing himself, but he's very good at that with everything that he's been throwing at the wall related to Roger Clemens. Unrelated to that, I do think Roger Clemens should be in the Baseball Hall of Fame. I feel that way.
Yeah.
I think Barry Bonds should be in the Baseball Hall of Fame. I don't know that I think Mark McGwire should be in the Baseball Hall of Fame. I don't know that Mark McGwire was a Hall of Fame baseball player. I think he was a hell of a home run hitter, and it's really hard for me to know what that line is between being a great home run hitter because of steroids versus I mean, we all saw Mark McGwire when he came up as a rookie. I don't know if he was on steroids his entire career, but when he came up, he was a prodigious home run hitter day one.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't feel as strongly about Mark McGwire.
Is there somebody you can put in just the summer of '98 or something?
Right.
But Bonds and Clemens belong in the Hall of Fame, and I think Palmeiro belongs.
That's what I was trying to get at. Yeah. Like 500 home runs, 3,000 hits, and again, you could say that maybe some of the home runs at the end were impacted by steroids, but I'm agreeing with you. Rafael Palmeiro was a hitter. Like, he was a hitting machine.
Yeah.
Beyond his power.
Yep.
He was just a professional hitter and one of the great hitters of an era. Yeah. And to me, that's why I think he is worthy of being in the Hall of Fame. Yeah. If we finally break this down and allow people besides David Ortiz, who are steroid users, to get into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Football season opened last night. By the way, today's show is also brought to you by Live Casino and Hotel, all football season long. The best place to watch every game is Inside Sports and Social at Live Casino and Hotel.
Does Griffin watch every single game there?
At Live Casino? No, not every single one. But sometimes I'll wonder, like I haven't heard back from him for a little bit. I will wonder if perhaps he's just spending an evening inside Sports and Social.
Well, you know how Bill Belichick used to sleep at Memorial
Right,
Stadium.
Correct. You think sometimes Griffin is just sleeping at Sports and Social.
Yeah.
I wouldn't blame him. Yeah. It's a great place.
They don't give him a free hotel room. He hides in the men's room.
Have you? No. Have you seen those blue reclining chairs inside Sports and Social? I absolutely have seen people sleep. Those chairs are so comfortable that sometimes, despite it being a raucous environment, I look over and somebody is passed out on one of those chairs.
I just have a great suggestion for you at BAL.
Yeah.
Is when it's sort of like rain delay, pitching changes. You know, you advertise pitching changes. They when you do Monday at 4:30 in the morning, you do it at Sports and Social.
Oh, now that I'm not opposed to that whatsoever. I'm not opposed to that even a little bit. Stan, John from Little Rock was bragging about the fact that he was on the Cowboys last night. Griffin was on the Cowboys last night. Statement cover from the Dallas Cowboys last evening. Very weird football game. Extraordinarily weird football game. Did Dak spit first? The Zapruder film suggests. This is the
angle.
This is
I mean.
Spit. It's Jalen. I didn't realize that's what Jalen Carter looked like. That's so odd, Griffin. I don't know how you got that video, but good investigative work on your part. The Jalen Carter thing is insane. Like, what, dude? What are you doing? in what world do you think you're just going to get away with this?
I never saw it. I was watching the tennis last night.
Well, everybody's now making a big deal of the fact that, like, we found this is before Jalen Carter got ejected for spitting.
Right.
In the same sequence, after the play, as described, Jalen Carter is talking to Thomas Booker, the rookie offensive lineman, or Tyler. What's his Thomas Booker?
Yeah, Tyler.
Tyler
Booker's from.
Oh, right, that's our guy. Yeah. So Dak spits, but doesn't spit on Jalen Carter.
I just can't watch it anymore.
He just sort of spits in the direction of Jalen Carter, and then as you see Jalen Carter, all this courtesy of NBC, Jalen Carter spits on Dak Prescott, which is beyond.
But he spit on his shirt.
Correct,
right?
but that's not. You can't spit.
Stan, you want me to spit on you real quick?
Right,
How you feel?
like, yeah. A nice spit on that. Nice.
Also was a
you
loogie,
normally,
when
you hear the term, he spit on him. It's like he spit in his face. He spit on his shirt.
Yeah, I don't think
maybe he'd eaten something. Maybe he'd eaten something before the game, like a Philly cheesesteak.
He's trying to share it. He's being
right.
nice.
Like, it's really good.
Yeah. Open your mouth.
Went to Jim's. Insanity, and then the Cowboys come to life a little bit. They do it. Actually, I say they did it all throwing the ball, but there were a couple rushing touchdowns in there for Javonte Williams as well.
Like, there was offense in the game, but it wasn't. It felt like there was no offense.
Right, and it's the weird part.
Because
so
I needed CeeDee Lamb to score a touchdown, and AJ Brown did nothing. And
no
fantasy output.
All of the offense is in the first half.
Yes,
the entire second half, there's 3 total points.
Yeah.
And I get that there was the weather delay, and that probably impacted the rhythm of the game, but just a
very weird,
really weird football game to open the season. Ultimately, the Eagles win as expected. I guess if you care about the Cowboys, you come out of it maybe feeling a little bit better than I think a lot of people believe the Cowboys post Micah Parsons trade could be a doormat.
And the other thing is there's CeeDee Lamb had like 3 drops in the fourth.
He
quarter,
did 100%. They were driving down the field, and
it was unreal. Like he left 15 points out on the field for me.
You're not over it.
It was unbelievable.
You should let him know. I'm sure. Send him a DM. I think that'll go over really well, Griff.
Do you know the name of his dog? Maybe I can. Just want to make sure.
I want a big bet on that.
You did?
You dropped 3?
Yeah. Stan had the over 2.5, and CeeDee Lamb dropped, so it was very good news for him that CeeDee Lamb dropped the third.
Actually, it was a parlay. I had a spit ejection, and a 3 drop.
I believe that's a Gordie Howe hat trick. Yeah. I believe that's the way that they reflect on that. So, yes, the Eagles open up the season with a win tonight. Chiefs-Chargers in Brazil.
And Maryland
for Game 2. I'm headed down
Illinois.
there. I am headed down to College Park tonight, as long as I don't fall asleep in the car and drive off the road. So when this show ends, I'm ducking out.
Yeah, try not to do that.
Yeah, I'm out of here to go get a nap so I can go down to College Park tonight. You brought up the tennis. Women's final is set. American Amanda Nisimova, after the heartbreak of being double bageled in the Wimbledon final, she not only comes back to beat Iga Swiatek, but she rallies after dropping the first set last night to Naomi Osaka, and she is on to the final to face Aryna Sabalenka, who also had to rally after dropping the first set to Jessie Pegula. So a little bit of a bummer that you were a set away from having an All-American women's final at the U.S. Open, but still we'll see if Amanda Nisimova can win her maiden Grand Slam title in the U.S. Open final on Saturday. The men's semifinals coming up later on today. And
I thought Pegula had more power than she showed in that match. I mean, I understand Sabalenka has power.
Is unlike anything we've ever maybe seen.
Yeah, but I just thought she had more power. There was very little power in her game.
No, it's not necessarily what her game is predicated on, and it's part of the reason why she's been a really good player, but never able to break through and win a slam. The Ravens yesterday back on the practice field. Still no Isaiah Likely as expected. Still no Pat Ricard. And with 1 day of practice left, he's dealing with a calf injury.
They can be tricky.
If Pat Ricard gets on the practice field today, they'll let him play. Like, that's just where they are.
I don't think he's going to play.
But I think most people at this point are assuming they do have a rookie fullback on the practice squad named Lucas Scott. out of Army, so they could use a call-up on him
Is
to
he
play.
the son of former Oriole
Luke Scott? I don't believe that he is related to.
Named his son Lucas.
Yeah, I don't believe that's the
So he's
case.
not a junior, but it's,
no, just a Luke. I got to make sure that it's Lucas Scott, right?
yeah.
Okay.
Pretty sure.
Well, wait a
It's
second.
Lucas something.
I think it's Lucas Scott.
Does he wear number 30?
I don't know. I couldn't tell you what number he wears. He wears number 47 apparently, and it is Lucas Scott. So that would likely be who would go in his place if Pat Ricard can't play. And as we mentioned yesterday, the Bills went from Tyler Bass was limited in practice on Wednesday, then didn't practice at all yesterday, their kicker. So they brought in 41-year-old Matt Prater, who could end up kicking in his place.
Did he used
on
to
Sunday
kick
night.
for
He kicked for basically
Denver?
everybody. Denver.
Yeah.
I want to say there was an Arizona stint.
Detroit.
Cleveland, if I remember correctly.
Sure.
Can we name all of the Matt Prater stops? This is the Patrick Stevens game. Here, I've got him. Don't look him up. I've got him.
Detroit, Arizona.
Detroit,
Denver.
Arizona, Denver. I was wrong about Cleveland. There was never a
okay.
Cleveland
I
stop
was
in
gonna
there.
guess Cleveland.
Okay, well, go ahead. Get the rest of
Buffalo.
them. There's
So
well, yeah,
it includes all the
technically.
practice squads.
He is not. He is not. And yes.
I don't know
So
if I
we're
can do
rooting.
There are two more. There are two more
that
stops.
He did appear in a game. And
that
We're rooting for a Prater crater.
Actually, I can't tell you if one of them he played in a game or not.
New England.
No, Atlanta is the only other one that I know definitively that he played. He might not. He was with the Dolphins,
Yeah,
but
no
he
way.
might not have kicked.
No chance.
Nope, he never actually kicked for the Dolphins.
Okay. All right. So, but he's been on what? How many? Eight other practice squads, I guess.
And actually, not as many as you would expect.
Okay.
I mean, he had long stints,
So
two-time Pro
five
Bowler, long
Teams,
stints, most of his career.
6 teams.
All right. Today's show also brought to you by County Sports Zone. Everything you need to know about high school sports, football season, well into high school football season here in the state of Maryland, but not just football, soccer, field hockey, volleyball, every fall sport and every sport all academic year long. They've got you covered. CountySports.zone, every score, every team, every sport all throughout the state. CountySports.zone, proudly sponsored by your local Toyota dealer and buyatoyota.com. We'll come back in. We'll get a tidbit. We'll get tubular, and then we'll wrap up the day by chatting with Mike Golic about Ravens Bills. That's next. Glenn Clark Radio. Feeling sluggish, unfocused, or not like yourself? It could be low testosterone. At Game Day Men's Health, we specialize in testosterone replacement therapy to help men boost energy, improve mood, and regain confidence. Our treatments, including testosterone cypionate, are safe, natural, and tailored to fit your lifestyle with weekly injections or pellet therapy. Get started today with a free testosterone test and feel the difference. GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Game Day Men's Health, where men reclaim their game.
For fans of the Costas Inn, and who isn't, I have some great news. Now there's a second location to go along with 4100 North Point Boulevard. This one is at the Timonium OTB. This is Stan the Fan, and I have been a fan of the Costas Inn and Triantafalo's family for going on 30 years. They're open for lunch and dinner, same great Costas feel, same great menu and quality food you've been enjoying for well over 50 years. The exact address on your GPS is 2200 York Road, and their phone number at the new location is 667-406-1975. If you're new to the Costas experience, get ready for a real treat. All wrapped up in a new spacious dining room in Timonium at the OTB. If you want steamed crabs, you have them, and the full menu at 4100 North Point Boulevard. The number for reservations there at Costas, 410-477-1975.
Get ready, Baltimore. On Saturday, September 6th, the world's top pro cyclists return for the Maryland Cycling Classic, America's top pro road race. Cheer on elite men's and women's teams from around the globe as they battle it out on a brand new circuit through Charm City. Enjoy a free festival, fan zones, and all the action at Harbor Point and the Inner Harbor. Watch live on Maryland Public TV or join the live stream at marylandcyclingclassic.us. Don't miss the speed, the strategy, the spectacle. The Maryland Cycling Classic, September 6th in Baltimore.
Game day gets even better at Live Casino. Score a live jersey on September 6th and bucket hat on September 27th. Plus, catch our big plays, big pays hot seats on select game days. When the home team scores, the prize pool doubles. And we'll give away a $50 sports and social gift card with every touchdown. Take it to the end zone at Live Casino. At Arundel Mills, must be 21. Please play responsibly. For help, visit mdgamblinghelp.org or call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Gambling can be a fun and entertaining experience, but there are risks involved. If you're planning on betting on the game at the casino or on your phone or computer, know your limit, stay within it. Set a budget and a time to stop. Remember, gambling isn't a financial solution, and it doesn't mix well with alcohol or drugs. Know the risks and have a plan before you begin gambling. For free and confidential services, call 1-800-GAMBLER 24/7 or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org.
Make the most out of every day in your Toyota RAV4. Available in hybrid or gas-only models. A RAV4 can get you where you want to go in style. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new RAV4s from your local Toyota dealer today.
Coming back in here with Glenn and the other guy, Garrett, whatever his name is. You know who they are.
All right, back in here on GCR as we're winding down for a Friday edition of the program with Stan the Fan Charles in studio. If you haven't picked up this print issue of Press Box yet, make sure you go do that today. Bo Smolka's got a great cover story about Derrick Henry and the unicorn that Derrick Henry.
It's in Press Box?
It's inside this print issue of Press
Really?
Box. Right here, 100%. The one with Derrick Henry on the cover, which is odd.
Derrick Henry's on the cover?
Odd choice. Go get that today. You can read it all at PressBoxOnline.com. You got a tidbit for us?
Yeah, I do. You want to do more top 100 stuff?
I don't know.
7 players have 3,000 hits and 500 home runs.
There are 7 players. Okay. So obviously Rafael Palmeiro.
Willie Mays.
Willie Mays, yeah.
Eddie Murray, right?
Eddie Murray, yes.
Hank Aaron.
4 for the first 4.
Barry Bonds.
Barry Bonds
3,000 hits.
Not on this list.
Did not have 3. That's right, because he walked about
100%
times.
Alex Rodriguez.
Alex Rodriguez has 3,100 hits and just under 700.
And we mentioned Palmeiro, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so how many?
2 more?
2 more, yeah.
How many home runs? 500 home runs?
Mike Schmidt?
No, not Mike Schmidt.
Albert Pujols?
Albert Pujols, yes.
Albert Pujols.
3,300 hits, 700 home runs, 703 home runs for Albert Pujols.
Len Cicada.
No. Don't think Len.
He was close.
Just came up short. You're trying to think of. You have to work backwards on this. You have to think of hitters that also happen to be power hitters. Like the 3,000 hits is the more unlikely.
3,000 hits. 500 home runs.
Chipper Jones didn't get the 500 home runs.
No. This guy did. Because he just got the 511 home runs.
Jim Tomei?
No, 3,100 hit, 3,174 hits, and 511 home runs.
Dave Winfield? No, he didn't get 500 home runs.
Stop it. Cheater.
Oh, man. What are you trying to do over there?
Derek Jeter?
No.
Derek Jeter definitely did not hit 500 home runs.
He was about, I don't know, how many home runs
about
short?
300.
More modern or more...
Very modern. He retired. His final game was
Adrian
October
Beltre?
No, 2023 was his
Cabrera.
Miguel Cabrera. Miguel Cabrera.
Good
7 guys with 3,500.
That's a good one.
All right, what was going to be your cockamamie? What position?
I don't know. We could do tight ends. I was just going to.
How many are there?
5 tight ends.
5 tight ends on the NFL Top 100 list this year.
Although we never did a defensive position. Do you want to do
5
ends?
tight ends?
Didn't we do? I thought we did safeties.
Oh,
what are you talking about?
Okay, yeah, you're right. All right.
5 tight ends, so Bowers.
Bowers is number 1. So a poll came out is it a poll? Is that what it was?
Yeah, they poll players.
That are in the top 100 now?
Yes,
current
top 100 players. There are 5 tight ends that landed in the
Mark
top.
Andrews?
Don't think
No.
Mark Andrews isn't one of the top 5 tight ends.
How about George Kittle?
George Kittle is number 2. Bowers Kittle.
Trey McBride?
Trey McBride is 4th.
I'll say still Kelsey then.
Kelsey's 3rd, yeah.
Yeah, Kelsey.
And the other one is Laporta?
Sam Laporta. There you go. Top 5 tight ends.
Look at you. Look at you.
There's only so many options at tight end. This isn't
but on no sleep.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. This is my Jordan flu game, really. This is my finest hour. Did you see how good I made the Bert Jones interview? Mostly me.
It was all you.
Great job
It was
there.
all you.
Mostly me. All right, that's a tidbit. Tubular is brought to you by Game Day Men's Health in Owings Mills, Frederick, and Columbia. They can't combat lack of sleep. Like peptide proteins. Yeah, well, maybe we'll look into it. Oh, you know what? Maybe today's the day I should do smelling salts. Maybe today was the day that we should have. We've still never done anything with them.
Can I ask one quick question?
No.
Oriole
All right,
question.
now.
It's announced that the Orioles that Corbin Martin accepted an outright assignment to AAA Norfolk, right? The other day, Ronzi Contreras. Now, I'm not trying to argue that Ronzi Contreras was going to be the difference between the Orioles going to the World Series next year.
You don't know that.
Yeah.
You don't know that.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
But I do know that they wanted him enough that they tried to pick him up like 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
And they DFA'd him.
Right.
He's been picked up by Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
And then less than a week later, they outright Corbin Martin.
I mean, I can't get too worked up about it because, as you point out,
they know what they're doing, Stan.
What?
Because they know what they're doing up there.
I can't get too worked up about it because, again, of the caliber player that we're talking about, like it's hard. But I mean, Contreras, he certainly looked good in the game that he, you know.
There were guys on that pitching staff that I think they could have gotten rid of,
There's a few of them. Why
not gotten rid of? Like Geraldo, I don't think they had to DFA him. I think they could have
optioned him. Yeah,
what do you think of Union Cano, Stan?
The Orioles have about 7 or 8 teasing players, which is something I'm thinking of writing about.
Okay.
Teasing players.
Guys that you can look at.
Like all of a sudden right now you go, well, maybe they should keep Ryan Mountcastle. I don't say that, but you know how I felt about him for years. Very nice guy.
Mm-hmm.
Very polite. Good teammate, but
no, if you knew what he thought of you, though, you might not. You might not say.
It doesn't matter
what
he thinks of me.
What a pro,
big man.
Yeah,
I'm
bigger than that.
Anyway, we'll settle down over there. Let's not do that. All right.
Do what?
No, I don't know. Game Day Men's Health. That's what we should do.
Yes.
We should take care of ourselves, and we should get the Game Day Men's Health in Owings Mills. 443-264-4454. In Columbia, 443-266-3505. And in Frederick, 240-931-3717. Whether you're dealing with just feeling sluggish and run down, you might be low T. Get a complimentary testosterone test from Game Day Men's Health. You can also go to GameDayMen'sHealth.com. If you're dealing with stubborn belly fat, if you're dealing with perhaps performance issues in the bedroom, men of a certain age, we just don't feel the way that we felt in our 20s, but Game Day Men's Health is there to help us feel that again, and I have definitely benefited from going to Game Day Men's Health. All right, here's what's coming up this weekend. It's a lot. The bummer is no Caitlin Clark. That's a bummer. 2 games scheduled in Baltimore this year and 0 for 2 on Caitlin Clark appearances, which is a real bummer. Tonight, Dodgers-Orioles, 7:05 on Masson. Tyler Glasnow, Dean Kramer. Tomorrow, 7:05, if weather holds up, Yoshinobu Yamamoto and Trevor Rogers. And on Sunday, what time is the ceremony supposed to start?
6:25.
6:25?
Yeah, I think 6:25.
Hoping for the best.
And they've got the bike race tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll get to that. It's on the list. There's a lengthy list.
Okay.
Clayton Kershaw, Tomo Sagano on Sunday at 1:35, also on Masson. Tonight, Maryland, Northern Illinois, 7:30 on Big Ten Network.
Bummer we're going to miss Ohtani, I guess. But
pitching.
Yeah,
yes.
pitching. Unless,
yeah.
ESPN
for the U.S. Open men's semifinal starting at 3 o'clock. Djokovic and Alcaraz, and then tonight, Sinner and Auger Aliassime. Chiefs-Chargers at 8 from Brazil on YouTube. YouTube is where you will find tonight's game.
Oh, our partner.
Yeah, right. Exactly right.
You can just stay right here.
Yeah, right here. Watch us, then watch. There you go. Tomorrow, NBA TV, 7 o'clock for the Basketball Hall of Fame enshrinement ceremony, including one Carmelo Anthony going into the Basketball Hall of Fame. The enshrinement ceremony tomorrow night, 7 on NBA TV. Tomorrow morning, Stan, 8 a.m., coverage begins on MPT for the Maryland Cycling Classic.
Women's starts at 8:30, correct?
Correct.
So there's like a pregame
lead
show.
in.
Rob
correct.
Long.
I would think this one's Jim Hunter, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
UAB and Navy tomorrow, 3:30 on CBS Sports Network. Towson Morgan State tomorrow night at 7 o'clock on ESPN+. Stevenson opens the season at Bridgewater. Hopkins opens at Ithaca tomorrow. Some college soccer as well. The Women's U.S. Open Championship tomorrow at 4 on ESPN. Anisimova and Sabalenka. On Sunday.
The Lutheran Cup tomorrow. Concordia Prep. Baltimore Lutheran taking on Long Island Lutheran.
Big.
New York. Yeah.
Big.
That'll be on YouTube as well. Be on the lookout, folks.
Did I miss some? You didn't mention the men's tennis today.
Yeah, I did.
It's going to be out Present Center. We know.
Yeah, that is true, too.
Really
I did
matter.
just mention that. Sunday on NBA TV and Monumental, Fever Mystics, 3 o'clock from CFG Bank Arena. But again, no, unfortunately, Caitlin Clark for that. ABC will have the U.S. Open men's final is on ABC on Sunday at 2 o'clock. Used to be a 4 o'clock on ESPN. They have moved it to ABC at 2 o'clock on Sunday.
Was the football canceled?
They're going to still play football, I assure you, but they don't do it on ABC. They don't do that anymore. Actually, I guess they probably are going to run Monday Night
it's like
Football.
if a tree falls in the forest.
Oh, settle down, you. Settle down. I'm sure all of us are going to be watching Sinner Alcaraz. Like anybody's going to choose to watch Jets Steelers at 1 o'clock on CBS. Go right ahead. And now they're doing commercials on the Red Zone channel. So the hell if I'm watching that. You can forget it.
They're doing
over my dead body.
They're doing commercials now on the Red Zone.
Yeah, but ask anybody at ESPN. It's only
apparently doing it 15-second
15-second spots
15-second increments.
And only on
total.
half the screen. And only like 7 of them throughout the course of the show.
How like they do the golf, I guess.
Yes, playing through, if you will.
Yeah, playing
and
through.
what's Stephen A. Smith's role?
Oh, God.
He's the new Scott Hansen. Yeah, he's gonna.
Can't wait. Local TV games on Sunday. CBS Steelers Jets at 1. Lions Packers 4:25. Fox Giants Commanders at 1. And, of course, NBC for Ravens Bills Sunday night at 8:20. And Project Game Day immediately after. PressBoxOnline.com/Game Day with myself, Rita, and our star, Griffin Bass. That's right.
Thank you.
That's right. And also Tyus Bowser will check in, too.
Yes.
Anything non-sports-wise? Non-sports, quick.
LoveCon Revenge on Netflix. So there's a bunch of women fell victim to the Tinder swindler.
I'm familiar with the story of the Tinder swindler.
Conning women out of money. So they investigate this. It's a docuseries on Netflix. Could be good. Highest to Lowest on Apple TV Plus. So this is Denzel Washington is one of the best music moguls in the world, and he has the best ears in the business. And then his son is taken for ransom, kidnapped by A$AP Rocky.
Okay.
And I think it's just a way for A$AP Rocky to roll out his new album because it's all A$AP Rocky songs. Spike Lee though, it's a Spike Lee joint. So.
Tindler's Swindlers. It reminds me when I used to perform a service in my fantasy baseball team.
Oh.
I would always get like the 11th or 12th teams to join the league.
Yeah.
And one year I got Tom Strickler.
Okay.
To come in.
The basketball.
And I named his team.
The Stricklers Ticklers.
Stricklers
That
Ticklers.
seems. I don't think. Did he join the
Gary
league again
Stein,
the following year?
Stein.
Did he call it
Gary
after one?
Stein was his partner.
Okay.
And took over the team next.
And did he
next
keep
year.
the name?
No, he went
that's
to
weird.
Steinway. Steinway. Like the
Very
piano.
Surprised. I get it.
The VMAs are on Sunday night.
Who do you have winning the VMAs this year, Stan? You want to do your VMAs pool?
Which awards are those?
That's the video music, the MTV Video Music Awards.
There's no question.
Yeah. I assume
Iggy Pearl.
Iggy Pearl. There you go.
LL Cool J hosting this year, of course. Task is a new series, the new 9 p.m. slot on HBO.
That's going to be something
You're excited
else.
for that one?
Oh, yeah.
Mark Ruffalo is Task. I don't know. I don't think that's his actual name. But he's like an FBI agent hunting some guy who's on the run. It does look pretty good.
written by the same guy who did Mayor of Easttown.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Friendship is also streaming on HBO Max now.
I watched Friendship. It was
great.
Yeah,
it's fantastic.
It was fun.
It's
I mean, it was.
You just don't understand comedy.
That's probably what it is. I just don't know comedy. All right, Stan the Fan, always appreciate you.
Appreciate you.
Thank you for hanging out with us today.
Griffin,
of course, we don't appreciate him, but he is also here.
He's the greatest.
Yeah. What?
He's the greatest.
The greatest what?
Greatest hits. Yeah. He's got the greatest hits.
That's true. He'll tell us about that in a second. All right, thanks today to thanks to Bert Jones, who was amazing. Thanks to Stan. Thanks as well to Mike Golic, who you're about to hear from. We'll get it up in the greatest hits section of the
Aspiration
tab at glennclarkradio.com. All right. I think we've done. Thanks, everybody at PressBox, all of our great sponsors and partners, including Game Day Men's Health, CountySports.zone, your local Toyota dealer, buyatoyota.com, Costas Inn, Live Casino and Hotel Maryland, the Maryland 5-star. Nick's Fish House, 1-800-GAMBLER, helpmygamblingproblem.org. And the Maryland Cycling Classic tomorrow right here in Baltimore. Thanks to Griffin at Griffin_Bass. Follow us, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Glenn Clark Radio. Have a great weekend. Go Birds, go Ravens, go Maryland, go Navy, go Towson or Morgan. Duke sucks. We wrap up today's show. Had to do this a little bit earlier because of his schedule. On the call for Ravens Bills for Westwood One, the great Mike Golic right here on GCR. Ravens Bills coming up on Sunday night. You will hear it on Westwood One, and that means you will hear the sounds of our next guest's voice. You see him every day as part of Golic and Golic on the FanDuel Network. He is Mike Golic, Sr., and he is with us this morning here on GCR. Mike, it's Glenn in Baltimore. It's great to chat with you, man. Thank you for taking the time for us this morning.
Sure, no problem. Always great when we're talking football.
Hey, man, and this, we've been talking about this all week, Mike, because there's the conflict between, from a national standpoint, best matchup of the weekend, right? Game of the week, everything to like about it. And yet whoever wins this game in that market, everybody's going to say, okay, cool, sure, wake me up when we get to the playoffs. It's just a weird spot these two teams are in.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, you saw week 4 last year, Baltimore just ran Buffalo. I mean, seriously ran all over them. And then in the playoffs, it was a different story. A close game, dropped 2-point conversion, away from a tie, and Buffalo moves on. You're right. Both these teams, it's the talk of which team will overtake Kansas City and make it to the Super Bowl, which team will live out the quarterback finally making the Super Bowl after both winning MVP. So, yeah, while it's a great week 1 matchup, we all expect them to be in the playoffs and possibly meet again there.
Mike, do you believe that it's like one of these two teams' conference to win at this point, or are we being too disrespectful of the Chiefs the way that we're sort of talking about them?
No, I think it's definitely. It would not shock me at all if Baltimore or Buffalo won it. Quite honestly, I think Denver has a guy. I picked Denver to overtake Kansas City in the division this year. With Kansas City have 9 straight division titles. They're as good, but teams are catching them. Buffalo. You talk about the offseason and bringing in players, but they re-signed a bunch of their own,
right?
Which is sometimes just as good as bringing in free agents when you keep your own. Baltimore could be rivaling Philadelphia as the best roster on paper in the league. So, both these two teams are primed to make a move to be the best team in the AFC.
Mike, is there any way in which you expect these two teams to be particularly different than what we saw last January?
No, I don't think so. They're both completely led by their quarterback.
Yeah.
The one glaring difference, I did a few Baltimore games last year and very excited to start out this year with Buffalo and Baltimore. But we know the difference of Baltimore's defense week 1 through 10. They were pretty bad.
Yep.
And then insert new player in lineup. Back up Kyle Hamilton a little bit on the defense. I think when they weren't doing well in the first 10 weeks, he was averaged a little over 5 yards off the ball. Then they put him back. He was averaging a little 9 yards off the ball. And all of a sudden, a couple other switches, and then the number one, basically the defense, weeks 11 through 18. So I would imagine that they would be playing more towards that than the beginning of the season. But basically, these two teams know each other. There's a lot of the same personnel, and like football mostly comes down to, it comes down to one-on-one situations. Can the offensive tackle block the end? Can the guard block the D tackle, the linebacker? Can the wide receiver block the cornerback? Can the quarterback get off the block and make a play on the run? It comes down to a bunch of one-on-one situations.
Mike, one of the storylines going into this week, Mark Andrews has been asked a lot about what happened in the playoff game last year, and understandably so, right? Between not just the drop, but also the fumble earlier in the game,
sure,
which was very out of character for him. It was a really rough night, and he has, as you would expect, he's handled it all well, and hey, it's a new year, new team, not thinking about it, all of that stuff. But I ask you, and my gut tells me Mark Andrews is so accomplished as a player that he is capable of that he can put all that beyond him. But does that have any impact on a guy when he shows back up and remembers the last time I was on this field and all of the stuff that happened that went wrong?
every player is different. Every player handles adversity different. That's how you tell the greatness of the player, how they handle it. Nobody feels as bad for what happened last year than Mark Andrews. But you're also, probably not where you are without Mark Andrews. Yep. He had 11 red zone touchdowns, the most in the league. I mean, the guy was money toward the end zone. So, and nobody catches every single ball they throw to him. He knows he shouldn't have fumbled the ball. He knows he shouldn't have dropped the ball. Again, nobody knows or feels worse than him. Nobody can make him feel any worse than he felt. Do I expect him to forget about it and come back and play great? Absolutely. He's a pro's pro. I mean, he's been at the top level of that position. So there's every expectation that he puts that aside, maybe uses it as ammunition to come out and play even better. But I don't think it'll affect his play at all.
Like, is there anything from a football standpoint? Like, I know that so much of it is just what happens on that day, and to the point, right? Like, a couple of mistakes from Mark Andrews were killer in that particular game. But is there anything else big picture that you think stands between the Baltimore Ravens and making that proverbial jump and getting over the hump in the postseason and finally breaking through and winning a Super Bowl with Lamar Jackson?
No, I mean, with as close as they are with Buffalo and with Kansas City, it's all about execution that day. Yeah. And that's something, obviously, John Harbaugh, the second most tenured coach behind Mike Tomlin in the league, is. It's just about execution. It's about the fundamentals. A lot of football, a lot of really sports, quite honestly, but we're talking football here. It's not about you winning games, but it's about who makes the mistake to lose the game. And unfortunately, for Mark, there were a couple of mistakes. Now, again, you can't put everything on those plays. There's plays during the game that affect it, but those were the last plays. So you magnify those, but that's not fair, quite honestly, because there are a number of plays that can cost you during a game. It's just they have the talent to be the best team in the league, without question. It's just executing on that day. That's the thing about playoffs. It's one and done. It's not a series like baseball or basketball. So mistakes get magnified in the playoffs. In the regular season, you usually have another week, just like Baltimore beating Buffalo in week 4. Yep. But then, you keep having more weeks. But when the playoff hits, man, you think you're going to go a long way, and the next thing you know, you're cleaning out your locker the next day. And that's what happened to Baltimore. It's a jarring feeling when it ends that quickly. So it's really about execution during the playoffs on that day.
Mike, it's been a long time since we've been talking about a change at kicker in Baltimore, but that's something that's going on, and that's the storyline that we're monitoring. And Buffalo, typically a tough place to kick, but normally, like when you get to the end of the year, I think I saw the weather's going to be in the 50s on Sunday, so basically like a perfect summer day in Buffalo for you guys. How long, like when you're doing something like this, when you're turning things over to a rookie kicker, what is like the grace period if he struggles? Is it something where for a team that's trying to win a Super Bowl, you can't have that long of a rope? Or when you're trying to find a franchise kicker, do you need to? Like, what does this look like? Because it's been a long time since we've had to think about it.
Boy, that's the truth. That is the truth. Listen, there's obviously, he's a rookie. Obviously, there's a growing period into it. But, I mean, when you're a team that's vying for the Super Bowl and has the talent to win a Super Bowl, you can only wait so long. You see kickers moving all the time during the season. I'm not sitting here and saying that's going to happen to this young man, but Baltimore understands that they're in a position, they're in an open window of being the best team in the league. So you have to be firing on all cylinders. And if that means a rookie kicker, then that means a rookie kicker. So you have to kind of let him grow into the position. And again, like we said, it's a long season. I don't think anybody's going to go undefeated. You're going to have losses. You can move on from them. But the bottom line is making the dance at the end of the year. So, I mean, you have room for him to grow, no doubt.
I think it'll be interesting to watch, and obviously he was very impressive in the preseason, and so I think there's every reason here in Baltimore to be excited about him. Mike, just to make sure we're talking about the other side of this, right? Like the Bills, I think a lot of people were surprised after a year ago and everything that was made about how Josh Allen had to do it all. I think there was some surprise that maybe they weren't more aggressive. They did get Josh Palmer. It's not like they didn't do anything at the playmaker positions, but they didn't go out and get, a game changer. Are they asking Josh Allen still to do too much in Buffalo for them to be able to make a Super Bowl run?
Well, I mean, they're certainly putting a lot on his shoulders, just like a lot is on Lamar Jackson's shoulders. You had James Cook, who was over 1,000-yard rusher last year, averaged almost 5 yards a carry. They took care of him. You bring in Josh Palmer. You hope Keon Coleman from the Buffalo side takes another step in his growth. Khalil Shakir obviously is still the main receivers. You got 2 tight ends. You got guys that you can count on. And I think they wanted the consistency of that, knowing you're led by Josh Allen, both with his arm and, quite honestly, with his legs. So that's why I said, re-signing their own and keeping this team together, which, again, just like Baltimore has the talent to be the best team in the NFL, so does Buffalo. They absolutely do as well. We're just waiting to see which team overtakes the consistently great Kansas City Chiefs.
No doubt, right? Every time I doubt the Chiefs, I hear everything you're saying about the Broncos, by the way, Mike, and I am a Broncos believer as well, but I just can't doubt the Kansas City Chiefs.
Oh, I know.
Every time I do, it's like, by the way, they still have Pat Mahomes, man. Like, they just still remind us that that's not going anywhere.
No, listen, that's the truth. And they didn't have Rashee Rice didn't play a full season, obviously, and he's suspended for the first part of the season, but they didn't have him for a lot of the season last year. They didn't have Isaiah Pacheco for a lot of the season last year, and they still made it to the playoffs. They're strong, especially with Chris Jones on that line. So, it's tough to count them out. I just did the broadcaster thing of picking somebody else.
Yeah, just
and if
right.
it hits,
you look genius.
I
right.
look great. If it doesn't, who remembers?
Right. 100%, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
Mike, is there, besides the Broncos, is there another team in either conference that you feel like perhaps we're not talking about enough, or maybe we're too dismissive of, or maybe the other way around, that everybody's excited about, that you think that there's bigger problems there than people realize?
I'm really interested in Houston.
Okay.
Houston could literally have the best defense in the league this year. C.J. Stroud took a little bit of a step back his sophomore year. So I'm seeing and they lost some wide receivers and starting the season still have some injuries. But if they can get healthy, they got bit a little bit by the injury bug, and Stroud didn't have the season he had as a rookie, but their defense is absolutely lights out. So I kind of like what they're doing. As far as a surprise team maybe to make the playoffs, I don't know how far they would go. I look at the Colts.
Wow.
Okay. I think they have some talent on that team. Obviously, the quarterback position is a big question mark, but they're not in a great division, quite honestly, outside of Houston. Though we'll see what Jacksonville does with Travis Hunter and how they use him. In the NFC, I think Green Bay, and I said Green Bay even before Micah Parsons got on that team. Now we'll have to see how his back is, but Jeff Hafley, the new D coordinator, really turned that defense around last year. I think the offense is in. They have a bevy of wide receivers, including now a first rounder in Golden, who could be a deep threat for him. So I maybe look for them to overtake that division, because we have to see how Detroit handles losing both coordinators, trying to fix their defense a little bit. You are getting Aiden Hutchinson back, which is good. But I kind of like the growth of the Packers.
He is Mike Golic, and you will hear him on Westwood One Sunday nights as the Ravens take on the Buffalo Bills. Of course, every afternoon, FanDuel Network for Golic and Golic. Mike, is there anything else we can plug for you, my friends?
No. That's good. I'm just trying to stay busy, trying to stay in the sports world.
It is a good time, right? Like, this is the time of year that we all live for. Other than, I know I'm sure you're still struggling with what happened in Catholics versus convicts the other night. I'm sure that one's still a bit difficult.
I thought we were going to make it through the whole interview without you bringing that up, but you had to bring that up. Yeah, that was a tough loss. Though I'll say all 3 top 10 matchups, all the losers, Texas, Clemson, and Notre Dame, all stayed in the top 10.
Yeah.
They were all close games, so they could be where they want to be at the end of the year.
And the winners were all of us that got these awesome first week of the season matchups. I mean, this was tremendous for everybody. Mike, thank you as always for taking the time for us, man. We really appreciate it. Enjoy the trip on Sunday.
All right, thanks.